My last video about my iPad mini was a 2-year later review, as well as my overall personal experience with it during that time. I've come to the conclusion a long time ago that the iPad mini really is the ultimate minimalist tool for so many reasons. It's able to replace so many physical items, all while being in this tiny thing that can fit into my jacket pocket. But the reasons I'm going to go over today are either ones I didn't cover in a previous video in a lot of detail, or even new ways I found to utilize it. Reasons like being a perfect console for a super casual gamer who doesn't want to commit to a gaming only device, using it as a teleprompter as I am for the very first time right now, and even sitting on a Discord call while your friend streams Elden Ring when you should be working. Here are my reasons why the iPad mini is the ultimate minimalist tool. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, and you end up liking the video, be sure to like, and please ask the subscribe button if you could watch their favorite show with them, but make sure to blast TikToks at full volume the entire time. Let's get started. Creation. I wanted to start with what I believe the iPad mini excels the most at for me, and that is just overall being one of the best devices for creation. Specifically drawing and animating in apps like Procreate and writing in notes. Before downloading and messing around on Procreate, it was probably since high school when I really actually tried to draw something. Drawing on here, specifically with Procreate, has completely rekindled that love I once had for drawing and sketching. The amount of different brushes built in or ones that people made that you can download are completely limitless. And sometimes just messing around on Procreate with music on is one of the most relaxing things I can think of. The entirety of my wallpaper store, which are all free to download by the way in the description box if you're interested, were all made on this iPad mini using Procreate. And all of that is with just one single app. My experience with writing is limited to Apple Notes, but I've seen people make some pretty sophisticated journals with some apps I'm personally not familiar with. Whether you're someone who creates for a business or to be productive in some capacity, or it's just completely for entertainment, there's almost guaranteed a way to utilize the iPad mini to cater to that. Casual gaming. I've always had at least a couple of games on my iPad mini, but more recently I found that it is much more capable of being someone's only gaming device than I initially believed. Especially that of an extremely casual player. Between the accessibility of games, by literally just going to the App Store and downloading them from there, some of the most fun and popular games being available here, like Stardew Valley, Among Us, and Call of Duty Mobile, just to name a few. The iPad mini covers enough bases in terms of genres to fit any mood of play I might be in. And in most cases, these games aren't even the watered down version of their console counterparts. These are the full game. I wanted to mention I almost did make an entire dedicated video based on my favorite things to play on the iPad mini, but decided not to. So let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing before I make it, because I do definitely have a list for that. And something else that helps get the real experience, as if you're playing on an actual console, is the fact that Discord can be used on the iPad while jumping into any game. You could even connect a controller with it if you actually wanted to go that far. If the extent of your gaming is just playing on your lunch break, when you need to unwind on the couch, or if you just need to kill time on a flight or a bus ride, this perfectly fits those scenarios. Consumption. Okay, to be completely realistic, I probably use my iPad mini the most for consumption, but in a passive way. And I think a big reason for that is just because of how many scenarios the size of the iPad mini makes perfect sense. For reading specifically, it's almost the exact size of an actual book, and I've never had an issue finding what I wanted to read on an app or somewhere online. And I know a lot of people might find the satisfaction of actually flipping a page hard to replace. But the way you can view your progress in some of these apps to see how far you actually are in a book kind of fills those gaps. And when it comes to the occasional healthy, mindless consumption, like watching my shows or YouTube, I once again would argue that the size of the iPad mini strikes a perfect balance between an iPhone or a laptop. When I get to work and sit at my desk, I usually just keep this open right next to me. And when I have some downtime throughout the day, I'll glance over and sit back in my chair while I have a show or a video on. And since we are in the middle of season 2 of House of the Dragon, any fans, please make yourselves known in the comments. Communication. Something that I think flies a little under the radar in regards to the iPad mini is how it can actually be used for staying in touch with people. And I don't even necessarily mean with social media. Apps like Signal, Telegram, and even iMessage are fully functional to keep in touch with people. And of course, Discord and FaceTime as well. Discord, which I use quite often, especially when I'm playing games here with my friends. The iPad mini does have a cellular option, which I don't personally have, and still, even with only being able to communicate with these apps on Wi-Fi, it's proven to be very useful. I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but my friend recently streamed his gameplay on Discord while we were just chatting in the app, and it really just made for an entertaining way to kill some time at work. There really isn't anything I can think of in regards to communication that the iPad can do that my phone can't, but having this option in a pinch has been very nice. Finance Hub. My iPad, in a sense, has turned into an all-around center for managing my money. Things like paying bills, moving money into my savings, looking at investments, creating invoices, all of these things are done right here, and I can do anything I have to do regarding my money right from my iPad mini. One of my favorite things to do when getting organized with my finances is just taking advantage of some of those simple features that make the entire thing a little bit less annoying to do. Like using the split screen feature, for example, where maybe I have my investment app open on one side and calculator on the other. It's just nice to not have to switch back and forth. And it's one of those quality of life improvements that you don't even realize are nice until you actually start using it. Having everything regarding my money centralized and streamlined in one device has been very convenient. But what makes it so special here is that it helps me avoid the overkill of having my laptop open and then maybe my phone as a calculator, my cards right next to me, all to inevitably just press a button that says pay bill. Managing all my money on my iPad mini ultimately offered a more simple workspace when it comes time to pay all those bills, all while being a device that's able to do everything I need to. I'm sure we're very close to the release of an updated version of the iPad mini, but truthfully, I personally can't find a single area that this iPad mini is lacking in as of yet, so I'm very interested to see what changes when that new version inevitably does release. And once again, it's been a little over 2 years since I've had this thing, and time again, it's proving to be the most versatile, convenient, and just overall my favorite piece of technology I've ever owned. So I'll have a link in the description box with my exact model, as well as other accessories I might have shown in this video if you're interested in checking those out. And anyways, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you next time.